Second graders, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We are learning all about how to measure different things, and we're going to start with measuring to the nearest inch. I have placed a ruler down here for you guys, and you can see that this ruler is a little over 8 inches long. The nice thing about this ruler for us to get started is that it only has the marks for an inch. A lot of the times on rulers you'll see a lot of other marks on it, but I wanted to make sure we had a nice simple one to get started with. So let's talk. When we measure objects, we want to make sure that the object we're measuring is nice and straight. So I'm going to pull 2 crayons here. We're going to talk about which one you think would be better to measure. Do we want to measure a nice crayon that's straight like this blue one? Or do we want to measure a crooked crayon like the purple one? I think the blue one might be easier to measure, but let's look. So for measuring the purple one, it's not lined up that nicely. But the blue one can line up very nice to a ruler. And you see it's even a little bit shorter. So if we were to measure this crayon, the next thing we want to do is 1, we made sure it's straight. 2, we want to make sure it's all the way at the end. Sometimes I notice that when we go to measure things, we put it at the number 1. But then we're missing a whole inch. You need to make sure you start at the beginning of our ruler, and that's right here. That's where the 0 is. So let's see. My crayon is 3 inches, right? It stops at the 3 inches mark. Sometimes to help me, I draw a little line to extend my object at the tip of it. So here, that lines up with 3 inches. So this crayon is 3 inches. Good, let's try another. Let's put our crayon back. We'll put it up here. Let's look at our pencil. So the same thing, I want to make sure it's all the way to the end of my ruler. Not here, not here. I want to make sure it's nice and straight, not curved. So straight object to the end of our ruler. And then I'm going to draw a little line. Oops. Sigmar is not that great at drawing straight lines, guys. And then I'm going to draw a line right here. And it's 6 inches, right? The tip stops right at 6 inches. So this is 6 inches. Now these 2 objects I made a little bit easier for us. They were almost exactly to the inch. But sometimes we really need to pay attention to directions. And this says measuring to the nearest inch. So let's pull up a trickier object. I want to look at my friendly pink marker. So my object is straight. My object is at the end of the ruler. Oops. Okay. So now I'm looking at my pink marker. I have it to the end. I have it straight, but the tip of my ruler doesn't perfectly land on a whole inch. So if I'm measuring to the nearest inch, this object is closer to 8 than it would be to 9, right? So I'm going to say that this marker is about 8 inches. I don't want to say exactly 8 inches because that wouldn't be true. I want to say about 8 inches. Very good, guys. Let's look at our paper clip next. Oops. So I want to look at my paper clip now. I make sure it's all the way to the end of my ruler and my paper clip is straight. The next thing I want to do is I want to see what number it's closer to. Now I do see that it's between the 3 and the 4, but if I'm measuring to the nearest inch, I would say this is closer to 3 inches. So my paper clip is about, right, because it's not exact, 3 inches. IN stands for inches. So my paper clip is about 3 inches. So remember, boys and girls, make sure your object is straight. It's lined up to the end of the ruler. And go to the closest inch. Good luck measuring.